when I'm thinking of the guys that are golfers that have come in here, that have talked to me, I am not a golfer. But most of the pain, the worst pain in the world, it's not orthopedics, it's not shoulder and back and hip and knee. It's Dave and I, before we started, we were talking about some marketing stuff. Dave's working on a mailer. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing. I'd love to hear Jimmy's perspective on it.
Yeah, so this was so one thing that got me on the idea of the mailers. I've gotten some physical therapy mail over the years. I put it in the other room. I showed you the knee pain one before, but this one is not related to physical therapy. This one is a license plate with my name on it. Now, Jimmy knows and Tony knows.
You from Jersey?
Well, so I'm from Jersey, and we've gotten 2 or 3 car leases from Jersey.
Understood.
So that's why it is New Jersey plates, which it actually doesn't. Yeah, they should have. If they really wanted to customize it, it should have been a New York plate, since they're sending it to a New York address. And I won't show my address the way that Jimmy McKay does on live internets.
No one's shown up yet.
But anyway, so this I thought was unique because, wow, it caught my attention. It was my name. And most of the time it's like this, like at the back of it is just like a white, performance, Woodbridge Services, whatever, dealership. Anyway, why should you care if you're watching or listening about your physical therapy practice? So I'm looking to do something like this, not with the patient or individual's name on it. But I was telling Tony in the pre-interview, I'm making a flyer like this, like a 6-inch by 11-inch flyer to go to targeted addresses in Manhattan. And it's going to be about golf. And my question to the panel here, my buddies, my question also to the open internet that's watching or listening is, should I focus on golf pain only, like in the headline? Like, so right now my provisional headline is pain with golf, ? Because, got milk, ? Like 2 words or 3 words, like really big and bolded, will work really well with a flyer or any, advertisement or headline. But I also have in there like the secondary, like the sub headline of that. I could pull it up, but it's, and I'm on my phone, so I can't share my screen, but the secondary headline is about performance. So it's like, do you want to end your pain and return to peak performance ? So like the secondary headline is about the performance of golf. If I send this to a whole bunch of addresses, some small percentage of people will actually be golfers who have pain, right? So I know the response rate is low anyway from flyers. And the idea is that I'm going to be sending multiple flyers over the next several weeks and months to the same addresses. So in the beginning, it's going to be golf, and then it's going to be about knee pain only, and then it's going to be about back pain or sciatica only. So it's going to be like condition-specific mailers in the mail, direct to the consumer in a flyer like this, because they don't even have to open it. So they get eyeballs on it, hopefully, unless they have an assistant, which some of my clients do. So the person that has golf pain may or may not even see it. They may or may not open up their own mail. Those are some of the considerations that I'm thinking about with making this. But obviously, it's a direct response flyer to get them to call us in regards to a golf swing analysis. But maybe it's 2 things, and maybe you guys can give me some feedback. Like I should maybe do one about golf pain, like back pain and elbow pain, or just pain with golf. Maybe that's one. And maybe a separate one is about golf swing analysis, golf performance, hit the ball, an extra 20 or 30 yards off the tee, improve your shot consistency by 40 or 50%, increase your ability to, your bragging rights with your friends and buddies and coworkers. And then you could, that you're golfing better than whatever. So that's my question to you guys is, if it's a golf flyer from a physical therapy practice like mine, does it make sense to mention both of these, pain and performance, or would they be 2 separate campaigns or flyers?
Jimmy?
Yeah, I see. I'll give an example. JP Guidry, I don't know if you follow him online. He does a really good example of this. This is what he focuses on. If you do 2 things, I think if you miss on the first, the second doesn't pay attention. So I would focus on one, but is the flyer the only way you can hit them? And I'm sure you're thinking of this as well, which is different ways that you can hit the same message. So how long is this campaign? We'll call it one campaign. We'll call it Dave's Golf Campaign. How long in your mind is this going on? Because you said you're going to do multiple flyers.
Well, I plan on doing at least for the next 3 to 6 months. But each one is, it's not going to be golf. The first 1 or 2 might be golf, but then it's going to be knee, just general knee, like orthopedic knee pain, did your doctor tell you have bone on bone, you need a knee replacement, there's nothing that can be done, whatever. And then there'll be like a low back pain or sciatica one. So, but if these work in terms of the ROI, right? So, now you got to talk about designing them, printing them,
mailing them,
postage costs, all that. But I just running numbers like every, 250 that get mailed out, like I only need like 1 or 2 patient visits to actually call in, like a patient to call in and do like 2 visits and would like cover it all, or at least break even.
So I would say, since you're using a mass communication strategy, I would make your message really precise. Because if you're trying to mass communicate a message to a mass audience and the message is mass, it's too diluted. I would go specific. Since you're landing in their mailbox, I almost said inbox. Since you're landing in their mailbox, kids' mailboxes are like actual physical boxes that mail shows up in. I would go really specific. I think you could. But I think the specific doesn't necessarily have to be what the issue is. Like JP does a really good example. Is like, do you want to hit it longer? Are you having problems? Is it harder to get on the tee box this year versus last year? I can help with that. So the outcome is playing more golf or feeling better when you're done with golf versus what it is. Because it could be a multitude of things. It could be knee. It could be ankle. You never said ankle. I didn't know you did ankles.
I wonder too if it's one of those things that you could dig deeper, slice that pie a little smaller, in the sense that I wrote down, okay, so golf pain isn't always orthopedic, right? Like when I'm thinking of the guys that are golfers that have come in here, that have talked to me, I am not a golfer. But most of the pain, the worst pain in the world, it's not orthopedics, it's not shoulder and back and hip and knee. It's embarrassment. Yeah, it's slicing or drawing or whatever. It's, missing the putt. It's those things, being embarrassed in front of your friends. So I do think kind of a tagline related to that is something that would resonate, because there's a million golf pain marketing things out there, but it's like, the pain isn't always orthopedic, or the pain isn't always in your back. Sometimes it's in your head, whatever you want to say. The other thing, when I was thinking about getting really specific on this, and I don't know, New York, I mean, you're so densely populated there. It's the people I shared a couple months ago, maybe. Somebody had texted me and said that they were having an issue and they were planning on going on a trip. It was a golf trip. And so what made that person say, I will pay you, I want to come in, what can I do right now? It was the urgency of the golf trip that was planned for the next week. And so to put a flyer out there, basically saying something like, quote, it never fails. You booked a trip for your dream golf vacation, and now you throw your back out. Something that's targeting not just golfers in pain, but golfers with a big event coming up. Maybe they're going to play in, a tournament, a fundraiser. They're going to travel. They're going to Pebble Beach, or they're going to Florida, or they're going to wherever. Targeting that demographic because they have the urgency to say, I need to get this taken care of. And then the last thing I was going to say, kind of playing on what Jimmy was saying, from what I've heard, and I'm not good at this yet, the paid ad, whether it's a print, a postcard, a Facebook ad, whatever, the paid ad kind of forces them to see you, but then a lot of them will look for your organic content. So something on there, whether it be a QR code or whatever, something that takes them to then your organic videos and educational information on, the condition and the performance, so they get a chance to understand who you are. You're an athlete, you play baseball, you're a golfer. These are the things that you've accomplished and you've done. I think that would be a big component with it too.
Lowering their score is a big one, right? Isn't that? I mean, that's ultimately they want to have a lower score.
Yeah,
or not as good as the preventing the issues, preventing the slicing, preventing
right,
like the embarrassment. If I could use that, I think that's something that's overlooked with a lot of ads, especially for whether it's golf coaches or physical therapists or folks in between.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm perfectly healthy. I don't really have any issues, and I'm not going to lower my score. But that's a playing golf more often issue, right? But what's preventing you from playing golf more often? It could be something that Dave could help with. I can play golf 100 times a year. I'm never going to get any better. That's me. It's not going to happen. I don't like it enough.
I want to stay on this topic, but real quick, I got to address Dan Vapney's comment. He said most people don't want to write more notes. So this is when
I've said this before about Tony's idea of the Medicare going back to the beginning of the show. Medicare beneficiary comes in for 5 visits that week instead of 2 or 3. Dan, I 100% agree. Tony is making his therapist write more notes, more admin. I didn't go that hard at going against you with this topic earlier today. I've done it on other episodes. I was a little more subdued today. But Dan, you're 100% correct. I have mentioned that before. Tony has a rebuttal. Here we go. What do you got?
Anyway, what's Jimmy's gonna say?
Not going to write any notes. It's going to use AI to write those notes.
Yes. Like, who's writing notes? Are we serious in this? Like, with the technology, I mean, if I had a quill and an inkwell, I would agree with Dan 1,000,000%. We are not doing that any longer. Like, I have been neck deep in AI and automation with note writing, bringing in elements that is unique to me. I understand what you're saying, Dan, 100%. And that's a very common complaint. But yeah, you're writing a 1-unit note, not a 4-unit note. So when you look at the note, it is based on what was done. You're filling an hour. Whether I'm seeing 6 people in an hour, I'm quadrupling my profit, or I'm seeing 1 person an hour. I'm writing an hour's worth of documentation for an hour of time. It's really technically not more notes, but now you bring in AI and you bring in scribes and you bring in that other stuff. Forget it. Like, it is a no-brainer. That's not a reasonable objection anymore. Okay, back to Dave. So what I did recently, and I don't know if you guys saw it, it was a LinkedIn post. I'm not going to share it. It was from a company that I know. I know the CEO well. We go back a long time. They put out a post about fall prevention. And it was your typical post about fall prevention, right? And it was like, hey, this many people a year fall and this many, results in hospitalizations and a bunch of stats. And then call us to stop falling or something. Completely useless piece of content. It's not going to motivate anyone. It's not going to interest anyone. It's not going to gain subscribers. It's going to have zero function on your feed. So I took a screenshot, and this is what I would do with Dave. I would take a screenshot of what you're thinking about putting out, but I took a screenshot. I put it into ChatGPT 4.0 for reference. I said, hey, tell me what's wrong with this ad. And then it gave me the list. And then I said, okay, using Alex Hermosi's $100 million offer framework, I want you to create a better ad. So then it generated a better ad. And then I gave it a couple recommendations. And I said, hey, using copywriting techniques from Gary Halpert, I want you to add copywriting elements to this. And it got really good. Like, it was talking about the fear and the anxiety and laying on the floor and all of these things. And then I took it one step further. I said, most of the patients who would benefit from this service are not going to be the ones who are actually signing up for physical therapy. I want you to change the focus demographic to the adult child of the parent who's going to be falling. And I want you to write the ad for that person. I want you to include the fact that, you're noticing mom and dad are falling or losing their balance more often. You're busy working full time. You're busy raising your family, your children. Now your parents need a full-time caregiver. I brought up topics like your parents have been fiercely independent their whole life. They don't want a stranger coming in, telling them when to go to the bathroom, telling them how to take a shower. They don't want a stranger walking around their house, going outside for smoke breaks. Like, I see it. I see it in my neighborhood. Even, we're all going to be dependent on someone at some point, but it's very different when you have a stranger who's going out, coming back in, reeking of cigarette smoke, all this kind of stuff. So it wrote such a great little ad.
I want to read it
here. Okay, so I'm going to share it, actually. I'll put it into the chat.
Yeah, sweet.
It's pretty short. And then what I did, just so you guys know, I took this and I threw, I'm testing a still image and a video of somebody on the Biodex Reactive Step Trainer working on gait and working on balance. But basically, real quick, it said, worried about your aging parent falling again? We can help. Your parents deserve to stay safe and independent at home. But if they've been slipping, tripping, or losing their balance and risk of serious fall is getting too high to ignore, at Total Therapy Solutions, Middletown, Ohio, we specialize in fall prevention through our exclusive Biodex Bodyguard training. Now, it came up with Bodyguard training to a proactive solution designed to help seniors stay steady on their feet, Medicare covered physical therapy. If your parent is already experiencing balance loss, Medicare Part B will cover the initial evaluation and the treatment plan to improve strength, balance, blah, blah, blah. Exclusive balance training, Biodex Reactive Step Trainer, our cutting-edge system allows seniors to practice walking and recovery, slips and trips without risking a fall, thanks to our overhead harness system. Peace of mind for families. Feel confident knowing that your mom or dad is receiving expert care in the safest hands. Medicare may cover therapy. Biodex Balance Guard program is available for an additional $500 a month. Help your loved ones stay safe at home longer before the next fall happens. Call us to book an initial evaluation. There are other iterations of it that had more storytelling, more drama, more emotion. I'll put together some sort of combination, but I love the idea of having this sounding board and then being able to bring in specific elements. Alex Hermosi, Gary Halper, like Seth Godin, whoever you want to bring in to bring context to the content. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that's the way I use it. And I think that's the way that you should. I mean, the first GPT I created was called Very G. And it was a mix of Gary V, Adam Grant, Seth Godin, and like some of their personalities are not the same and not similar. They're vastly different, right? Like Godin's probably like the more like subdued. Adam Grant's a little subdued, but kind of in the middle, and Gary V is like in your face. But like, it is good to see these different approaches. I think that's a good use of artificial intelligence right now. Not necessarily have it write the final product, but have it write several versions of it and see which ones you're like, yeah, I could see that last person that walked through my door, that message would have resonated. Several of the things that you just said there resonated with me because if I was in Middletown, Ohio, I might be one of your ideal readers to then take action.
Quick issue with ChatGPT. Yesterday, I was trying to take a headshot of one of my therapists and remove the white background so I could add it to this flyer that we're talking about. ChatGPT gave it a crack at it about 10 times, was not able to remove the white background from the headshot. I had to open up Canva. I dropped the headshot in Canva. It took 2 seconds, took the white background out, saved it as a new file, took that headshot of my therapist, put it on the flyer that I'm making in Vistaprint. And yes, Tony, ChatGPT is excellent for rewording and improving ad copy. Yes, it still cannot take white background off of a headshot. I know Tony's going to say, "Oh, it'll get there. It's getting there." But just as much as it can provide for us, we have some level of expectation sometimes. And I thought it could easily do that thing, and it couldn't.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't do any graphics or images through DALL-E or ChatGPT. If I want to remove a background, it's Canva 1,000,000%.
Yeah, I've generated some original graphics. That's what I'll do. Like, remember the Funko Pops, the little dolls? That was like the thing to test with DALL-E is make yourself a Funko Pop. You can go original. I'd rather it be really, really good at words right now. Focus on words. I can go to Canva for those other things.
It's weird. I thought I shared the video on the post, but I guess I never actually published it. I will take the written copy and the video clip. I'll publish it today on my business page, and then next week we'll come back and we'll see how it performed.
Sounds good.
All right. What do we got?
Parting shots.
Yeah, let's do it. Parting shots. So, big part of the conversation. You can be a fighter, and there are personality. My wife. So speaking of my wife, told you guys I hired a physical therapist.
It's your wife.
My wife is out there right now. She maintained her license. She's never gave it up. We started the practice together. We grew the business together. We've done everything together. But once my 16-year-old was born, she was out of patient care. Now we've sucked her back in. So we're hoping to squeeze a few hours out of her each morning to get in here and kind of right the ship, because I'm not the great leader that I wish I was. So she's the therapist that we hired and brought on.
I'm so confused how we've been doing this live stream this long. Not even a cameo from your wife.
Oh, are you kidding? Yeah. She is anti-camera, anti-every. We had people come out to Ohio and she was like, oh, I don't want to come out there and meet them. But she is phenomenal. She played college basketball, scored 1,000 points, like all of these accolades to her name, but you would never know any of it. And she is by far head and shoulders, brains, and everything behind the operation. So
she didn't need to be re-interviewed. She didn't have to submit references or anything. No reference check, no background checks, nothing like that.
I did ask if she had kids and if they were going to be a problem. If she was going to be leaving for 6 kids, like, forget it. Oh, shoot. So anyway, I was saying, parting shot. You know, you can be a fighter. She is a fighter. She is going to fight. She is going to do what she believes is right no matter what. Or you could be, you know, a non-fighter. You can find the solution within the problem. Like, it's always there. There is always an easier way to make something good happen. That tends to be the road that I choose. Find the easy solution. It doesn't have to be a battle. What you got, Dave?
I'm a fighter. I mean, I think it's well known by now, but if not, I mean, if my partners and team, if we go and partner or acquire an in-network clinic, maybe that'll change over time. If we find something that's got a great reputation, profitable, all that. But from what my model is, and so many of my friends and colleagues, Adam Gavilli, Gina Williams, Christian Marshall, all the therapists, Joel Giffen. I mean, there's so many practice owners, Joe Castelli in New York City, that are out of network or self-pay. Maybe they take a little Medicare, but for the most part, the commercial payers they're out of. And maybe that's a little bit of my how I would do things, or how I do things, or how also the New York City market is. And like a lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of consumers understand why a lot of therapists are out of network. Again, there's a bunch that are in network still. So anyway, it is what it is. And I will continue to fight and or laugh and poke fun at these posts that are talking about like the 2 and 3 and 4% reduction and, people getting mad at insurance and all that. It's like, take your destiny in your own hands, make it happen. Got to do things differently, run different ads, try different marketing. I do online marketing. Now I'm talking about sending paper mailers to people's houses. It sounds crazy, but it could work. You got to try different things. So yeah, it's my parting shot.
Yeah, I would say be water, right? I think both of you are fighters, but also you go with the flow, which is be water, which is figure out what problem you're actually trying to solve, and then try to solve that problem. By all means, I think we said this when Tony was off screen for a second, which is we could complain about it. We could send people to Capitol Hill, and I'm glad that we do. But if we hold our breath for those things to make massive results, we're going to pass out. So be water, figure out what problem you're actually trying to solve, and go with that.
All right, guys, I love it. Come check out PT Pintcast, Dave Kittle Show, learn Medicare billing. We'll catch you guys on the next episode. Thanks for watching.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hey, it's Dave Kittle. Are you a healthcare business owner or physical therapy practice owner who is looking to figure out your succession plan or exit strategy? We might be able to help. And in fact, we may be interested in acquiring your practice. If you're interested, you can reach out to me. Shoot me an email at dave@conciergepainrelief.com. That's DAVE at CONCIERGE painrelief.com. Or you can call me at any time, 646-781-8884.